What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. I find myself shopping on eBay quite often for retro games. I like buying a lot of old school games to relive my childhood, and I get recommended items from time to time that I find very interesting, sometimes peculiar, off-the-wall, zany things. And recently, something popped up in my recommended feed that completely shook my world. Like, if this actually came to fruition back in the day, it would have changed a lot of our childhoods. Got a very fascinating situation that I found here on eBay. Currently, there is an item up for sale that is at $680 with just over a day left to go, and it's titled Super Mario Bros. DIC Power Hour, Castlevania, Double Dragon, Metroid, California, and that's for California games. Now, what is interesting about this is it's from a former DIC Animation City employee, also known as Deke. Lot of 4, roughly 8x10 photo prints, Castlevania, Double Dragon, Metroid, and California games. I'm not sure of their exact use, but they appear to be promo materials for the Super Mario Bros. Power Hour TV show. Lots more rare Nintendo DIC items will be coming up for auction, combined shipping available. So this is coming from an estate sale, and they're promotional art for shows that never happened. And there are a couple really fascinating things that these show that I wanted to bring to your attention because it kind of blew my mind. Now, first off, I'm going to start with the second one there, Double Dragon. Let's go to that one. That looks absolutely badass. Way cooler than the Double Dragon we got here in the United States. I would have preferred this style, but no, unfortunately, it was not approved along with any of these. But you could have imagined what it would have been like if we grew up with these as TV shows. This is one I wanted to draw attention to. Castlevania. It kind of looks like a weird version of, like, I don't know, like Scooby-Doo? Except the monsters are actual monsters. They're not, like, people hidden behind anything. It's weird, though. It's not like Simon Belmont being a badass. It looks like guys going through Dracula's mansion getting scared of these monsters. So, an interesting concept. You got Medusa, the Mummy, Frankenstein, Death, and Dracula all there. So, I would have liked to see what this would have turned out to be. I would have liked to see what all of these would have turned out to be. I mean, outside of what we did get, excuse me, Princess, Legend of Zelda, and the Super Mario Brothers. These would have been badass. And third, we have California games, and it looks to be very loosely based on the game California games. I say very loosely based because California games didn't really have a personality. It was just basically skateboarding and surfing, and there wasn't much more to that game. I still never figured out how to actually play it, but it looks like this would have followed them on some adventures in the California wildlands. Looks fairly interesting. I would have watched it. I would have given it a shot. Probably not nearly as entertaining as the other ones, but still, there's definitely something here that could have been brought out. And finally, this is the reason why I wanted to make the video. Metroid. There would have been a Metroid cartoon, but the fascinating thing about this is, I mean, look at it. Clearly, Samus is a dude. Whoever did this promotional art or tried to pitch this series to Nintendo clearly never made it to the end of the NES game, or they just wanted to take it a completely different direction, or never even played the game in the first place, because clearly Samus is a guy in this picture when we all know Samus is a female. Fascinating that this art is on sale as something pitched to Nintendo for a cartoon show. Like, this alone, this picture alone, makes me very interested in this lot, just as like a weird quasi-history of Nintendo, even though it was never officially part of Nintendo's history. Something that was pitched to Nintendo, and they didn't even get the character right. Metroid. A dude. Fighting space aliens. At least they got that much right. Just interesting. Very fascinating. I The 80s were a very different time where anybody and everybody would just kind of do what they wanted. There was no internet back then. There was no way to really research things outside of talking with friends in circles and experiencing the adventures yourself. So, without being able to Google search something, I could see how this would have happened if someone was just trying to pitch something to Nintendo and be hip and cool in the 80s. They'd be like, yeah, look at how badass Samus looks, when in reality, they got it completely wrong. At this point, like I said, it's at $680 with 31 bids. I am watching this item. I'm very interested in it. Coming out of Los Angeles. It looks like they come in a wooden plaque or wooden frame. Very interesting. I mean, if nothing else, like I said, to own a piece of Nintendo history that never was, this Castlevania short would have been fantastic. I just know it. I keep looking at this being like, just imagine the possibilities they could have done with this. And obviously Double Dragon, Bimmy and Jimmy kicking some ass, California games, a lot of different directions they could have taken that. But most fascinating, Metroid. Just a very interesting auction I found on eBay that I wanted to bring to your attention. I will link it in the description below if anyone is interested on bidding on these items. Honestly, if these are one-of-a-kind prints that were actually used to pitch to Nintendo, $680 isn't too bad for it, especially for the historical significance that never was. But there's still over a day left in the auction, and I'm sure it will reach over $1,000. So I'll be keeping an eye on this. Very interested to see where it goes. And also, I'll be watching this seller because there is an estate sale, Lance Cannon 2000, selling former DIC promotional materials. Just, I wonder what else they have in their bag of tricks. Let me know what cartoon you would have liked to see most out of these. I'd be very interested to hear from you guys. What seems the most interesting, and if Metroid would have even worked as a guy, or if that would have completely changed the entire dynamic of the series, what they would have done with it, if that was approved to move forward with. Just a lot of different questions I have with this. I'm going to leave the video there, but thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing!